Have you ever hugged someone and felt absolutely nothing? Just two bodies politely touching, waiting for it to end? Now imagine a hug that stays with him for hours after it's over. Not because of what you said, but because of how you touched him. That's the difference between a moment he forgets and one he replays in his head again and again. You don't need to be bolder, you need to be more intentional, because when your touch carries meaning, warmth, calm, certainty, it becomes magnetic, and that's what makes him crave your presence even when you're gone. Most people think attraction happens in words or looks, but real emotional pull happens through how you make someone feel in your presence. So today, I'll show you how to turn an ordinary hug into something unforgettable, without saying a single word. Stay with me till the end, because the last touch I'll describe is the one that imprints you in his mind long after he lets go. If you're finding this helpful so far, hit that like button and stay tuned, because the next part is what makes your touch stay in his memory for days. Let me tell you something that most people never say out loud. A hug, yes, just a simple hug, has the power to make a man desire you in ways you can't even imagine. It's not about being physical, and it's definitely not about anything romantic or inappropriate. It's about creating a moment so meaningful that it stays in his mind long after he's let go. When you learn how to touch him during a hug the right way, you won't just be another woman he's met. You'll be the one he can't stop thinking about. Because when he remembers your hug, his body remembers the feeling of you too. And the truth is, men don't crave what's easy to forget. They crave what leaves a mark, what touches something deep inside their emotions. That's why we need to understand the art of touching him during a hug. The right touch is like planting a small thought in his imagination. He might not say it, he might act calm, but I promise his mind will replay it again and again, and the more he replays it, the stronger his desire becomes. Most people don't hug with intention. They hug like they're greeting a distant relative, quick, polite, and forgettable. But that's not the kind of hug you want to give. You want your hug to leave an emotional imprint, to make him think, what just happened? Why do I want more of that? That's why subtlety matters. It's not about being obvious. It's about sending a message through your touch that says, I see you, I feel you, and I know how to leave an impression. So let's talk about the 5 kinds of touches during a hug that make him crave more. These touches aren't just physical gestures. They're emotional triggers that work because they connect with what men deeply crave: connection, contrast, and a bit of mystery. The first touch is the linger. When most people hug, they pat and release right away. But if you want him to crave you, you hold on just a fraction longer. That small delay changes everything. It turns a regular hug into something meaningful. It shifts from good to see you to I don't want to let go yet. That tiny pause builds a spark. It plants a thought in his mind. Why did she hold me that way? And that's where craving starts. Because he doesn't just feel the hug, he feels your presence. He senses your calm confidence, your warmth, and something about you that feels different. Men rarely get that. You don't even have to say anything. Your touch does the talking. But be careful not to overdo it. If you hold on too long, it feels needy. If you linger just enough, it feels powerful. That small balance is where the magic lives. The second touch is what I call the graze. This happens when your fingers lightly move across his back, his arm, or his side as you begin to pull away. That little movement isn't an accident. It's like a whisper through touch. It's a gentle reminder that you're aware of how your touch feels to him. Most people hug and drop. But when your fingers brush against him, it activates something deeper. It's not a full move, just a hint. And that hint stays with him. He'll think about it later because it felt different from what he's used to. Imagine your fingers softly tracing down his back as you take a step away. It's no longer just a hug, it's a subtle invitation. What makes it so irresistible is that you don't draw attention to it. You don't make it dramatic. You let it feel natural, almost like a secret between his body and yours. That's why it sticks in his mind, because secrets are hard to forget. The third touch is the anchor. This one happens during the hug itself. It's when you place your hand firmly on a specific spot, maybe the back of his neck, the center of his back, or around his waist. That steady, confident touch tells his body, "You're safe here." And believe it or not, men crave that sense of safety, even the toughest ones. When you touch him this way, he feels grounded. He might not understand it consciously, but deep down, he feels held, centered, and connected. The secret here is confidence. Your hand shouldn't tremble or hesitate. It should quietly say, "I'm here, and I'm not afraid of this connection." That kind of calm assurance is magnetic. It's what separates a forgettable hug from one he keeps remembering. These three, the linger, the graze, and the anchor, already transform an ordinary hug into something unforgettable. But what makes them truly powerful is how they blend together. Imagine this. You hug him, linger for a second longer, anchor him with one steady hand, then let your other hand graze his back as you move away. In that brief moment, you've created an emotional sequence his body will replay without him even realizing it. The next time he sees you, he won't just want to greet you. He'll want to feel that same warmth again. That's what craving is. It's not logical. It's instinctive. It goes beyond thoughts and straight into his memory. But we're not done yet. The next two touches are what turn simple attraction into something deeper. These are the touches that make him look at you differently, not as a friend or just someone nice, but as someone who moves him emotionally. When you understand all five, you won't just know how to hug him. You'll know how to truly connect with him. Now comes the fourth touch, the whisper touch. This one is gentle but powerful. It's the touch that plays with his mind the most. The whisper touch is when your hand doesn't just stay still on his back, but instead moves very slowly, just a few inches, across a sensitive area. It's not a graze which happens at the end, and it's not an anchor which is firm. The whisper touch is almost like your hand is speaking directly to his senses. For example, when you're hugging him, keep one hand firm on his back while the other slides slowly, just an inch or two. That tiny movement may seem small, but it creates a wave of awareness inside him. Why? Because his brain can't label it as just a hug anymore. It feels intentional, curious, almost like a private signal between you and him. Men are drawn to contrast. If every touch feels the same, they forget it. But when one hand feels steady and the other feels unpredictable, his body starts to pay attention. And humans crave what surprises them. When you whisper to his body with your touch, you build suspense. He starts to think, was that on purpose? Did she mean that? That sense of uncertainty makes him replay the moment again and again. And the more he replays it, the more he wants to experience it again, to find the answer his mind couldn't settle on. The power of the whisper touch lies in restraint. You don't need to exaggerate it or make it obvious. You stop at the perfect moment, just when he begins to feel something new. You give him a glimpse, not the whole story. Think of it like a movie trailer. The best trailers don't show the entire movie. They just reveal enough to make you want to see the rest. The whisper touch works the same way. It's a preview of the emotional connection he could have with you. It's not about being bold. It's about being deliberate, calm, and aware of the moment you're creating. That's how a hug turns into something unforgettable. It's not about trying too hard. It's about using small, intentional actions that speak louder than words. When you master these touches, the linger, the graze, the anchor, and the whisper, you create a rhythm that draws him in without a single word. And the best part, you stay completely in control of the moment. He leaves feeling something he can't quite explain, and that mystery becomes the spark that keeps him coming back for more. And when you truly master that, you don't even have to try hard anymore. His own imagination will start doing the work for you. Now we reach the fifth and final touch, the claim. This one is a little bolder, but it's also the most powerful of them all. The claim happens when, for just a moment during the hug, you place your hand somewhere that makes him feel chosen, desired, maybe even claimed. but still in a way that feels gentle and feminine. It might be slipping your hand softly to the back of his head, letting your fingers brush through his hair as you pull him closer. Or it could be resting your hand firmly against the side of his ribs, right under his arm, a place where few people ever touch him. It could even be a light press on the small of his back, drawing him in for a second. That small move sends a clear message: I want you here close to me. Men aren't used to being claimed like that. They're usually the ones who lead, who pull a woman in. But when you turn that moment around, even for just a heartbeat, it surprises him. It sends a rush through him because suddenly he's not just the one desiring, he's the one being desired. And when a man feels desired, it changes everything. It reaches deep into a place he doesn't often get touched. Not his body, but his pride, his sense of being wanted as a man. You're silently saying, "You're the one I choose." That message is so powerful, it stays with him long after. He might not even realize it right away, but his body will remember that hug where, for once, he felt claimed by you. The next time he's near you, he'll lean in without even thinking. He'll want more of that feeling, the validation of being chosen again. Now let's put all of this together. You might be wondering, really, it's just a hug. Why would something so small make him crave me? But that's exactly the part most people don't understand. A hug is not just a hug. It's one of the only socially natural moments of full-body closeness. It's the one place where you can send a wave of emotion and connection in just a few seconds without saying a single word. And most people waste that chance. They hug like they're greeting a friend, or they pull away too quickly out of nervousness, afraid of looking too eager. But when you hug him with real intention, using the 5 touches, linger, graze, anchor, whisper, and claim, you turn something ordinary into something unforgettable. Here's what happens on a psychological level. Men crave the moments that make them feel special. If he feels like you hug everyone the same way, he won't think about it twice. But if he senses that the way you touch him is different, that your presence feels focused, real, and full of attention, he'll feel singled out. And being singled out is addictive. Imagine him later that night sitting at home, thinking about it. His mind replays the way your fingers moved across his back, the way your hand anchored him, the way you pulled him closer for that one extra heartbeat. He's restless now, wondering why he can't stop thinking about it. It's not because you did too much, it's because you did just enough. That's the real secret. You don't make a man crave you by giving him everything at once. You create craving by leaving a space between what he felt and what he still wants to feel. You give him a small taste of connection, then you step away. You let him live inside that space, that gap, and that's where desire grows. When you understand how to hug in a way that stirs something deeper, you don't need to overdo anything else. You don't need to dress a certain way or try to impress him with constant effort. You've already left your mark in his system. Now he's the one doing the craving. But there's one more important truth. These touches only work if they come from the right place inside you. If you're doing them to manipulate him or out of fear that he'll lose interest, it won't have the same effect. He'll feel the tension, the insecurity behind it. What makes these touches irresistible is when they come from confidence, from calm, playful energy and a sense of self-worth. The linger works because you're comfortable enough to stay. The graze works because you're light-hearted enough to tease. The anchor works because you're confident enough to make him feel steady. The whisper works because you're secure enough to leave him guessing. And the claim works because you already know you're desirable. You're not trying to prove it. That kind of energy is what men are truly hungry for. Think about the last time someone hugged you and was completely present. You felt it, didn't you? You noticed it because it stood out from all the quick, thoughtless hugs you've ever had. Men notice it too. They recognize presence. They recognize when your body language says, "I see you, I'm right here." And when they feel that, they don't just crave the hug, they start craving you. So here's what I want you to remember. Don't think of hugs as small, polite gestures. Don't rush through them as if they mean nothing. Think of every hug as your canvas. Each time you hug him, you have a chance to leave an imprint that lasts longer than words. Use the linger, use the graze, use the anchor, use the whisper, and yes, use the claim. You don't need to use them all at once, but mix them, shift between them, keep him guessing, because that unpredictability, that little bit of mystery, is what keeps him hooked. It keeps you from being just another woman. It puts you in the "I can't stop thinking about her" category. And once you're in that place, trust me, you become unforgettable. Here's the truth about why most women never realize the quiet power of a hug. It's because they've been taught that intimacy only comes from big gestures, from kisses, romantic moments, or bold actions that scream passion. But the real secret is this: men crave the small, quiet moments just as deeply, sometimes even more. A hug, when done right, is the simplest way to awaken emotion, the quietest action that can cause the loudest reaction in both his heart and his body. Picture this. He's been waiting to see you all day. You open the door and his face lights up. He steps forward, opens his arms, and you walk into him. Most people would hug quickly and pull away, but you've learned the art. You know how to turn that moment into something unforgettable. You melt into him for one extra second. That's the linger. His mind says, "Wait, don't let go yet." You anchor him with a calm, steady hand on his back, and suddenly he feels grounded, secure. As you slowly step back, your fingers graze along his back, and that soft trail of touch sends a quiet shiver through him. Then, just when he thinks the moment is over, your hand slides in one subtle, slow movement. The whisper touch, like your body still has something left to say even as you're leaving. And finally, before you step away completely, your palm presses once more into the small of his back, the claim. That last second, that simple gesture tells him everything without a single word. He feels wanted, he feels seen, he feels chosen. And what's amazing is, he doesn't even know why he feels it so strongly. All he knows is that he wants more. That's how craving begins. Not when you give him everything, but when you give him just a taste that lets his imagination turn it into a feast. Men live for imagination. They replay touches, glances, and little moments in their minds like a favorite memory. And if you give him a hug that includes all 5 of these touches, you've given him the most powerful gift you can offer a man. 5 key ways to touch him so he keeps thinking about you, something he can't stop replaying. Think about it. Every man has hugged many people in his life. He knows what an average hug feels like. He knows polite. He knows distant. So when your hug feels different, it's not just better, it's something else entirely. It stands out, and people crave what stands out. We don't become attached to what's average. We become drawn to what's unique. You become the person he compares everyone else to. That's the kind of effect you create when you know how to touch him during a hug. But let's make one thing clear. This isn't about being physical right away. It's not about using your hug to manipulate. It's about being truly present. It's saying, "I'm right here with you, completely." That's what men long for more than anything else. Because while physical closeness is easy, emotional connection is rare. Most men are quietly starving for a woman who knows how to connect with him in the in-between moments, not just the obvious ones. Imagine him walking away after that hug. He's heading to his car, his heart still beating fast. He turns the key in the ignition, but instead of thinking about his errands or his plans, he's thinking about you, about the way your hand lingered for a moment longer, the way your touch felt different, the way you pulled him in as if you truly meant it. He replays it in his mind. His imagination fills in the spaces between what happened and what could happen. He wonders if you meant it. He wonders if you're thinking about him the same way he's thinking about you. That wondering turns into craving. That craving turns into desire. And that desire makes him chase you. Here's the beautiful truth. Once you learn how to touch him during a hug so he starts craving you, you'll never have to chase him again. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to overdo anything. You don't have to convince him to value you. His body already knows your worth. His body already wants your presence. And when his body craves you, his mind follows. He'll text you more often, call you sooner, and want to see you again. Not because you played games, but because you gave him something real. Let's look deeper into why this works. The male body responds intensely to contrast. When every hug feels the same, short, polite, mechanical, his nervous system stays quiet. But when your hug mixes softness and strength, stillness and motion, holding and letting go, you create contrast. Contrast wakes him up. It makes him curious, and curiosity is the foundation of attraction. When he's curious about you, you don't need to fight for his attention. His curiosity naturally draws him towards you. Here's something many women don't realize. Men want to feel desired just as much as women do. They want to feel like they've been chosen, not just the one doing the choosing. When you claim him in your hug, you give him that rare experience. You change the pattern. And when a man feels that, it leaves a mark. In a world that constantly tells men to be strong, to lead, to pursue, a woman's touch that silently says, "I choose you too," becomes unforgettable, and anything rare becomes irresistible. So think about it the next time you hug him. Don't just go through the motion. Pause, breathe, feel him. Ask yourself, what message do I want this hug to send? If it's just polite, then that's fine. Give him polite. But if you want to stay in his mind long after, if you want him to crave you even after you've walked away, then hug him with purpose. Let it linger. Be graceful, grounded, and intentional. Let your body say what words can't. Every small part of that hug should tell a story of connection, of curiosity, of warmth, a story that keeps him thinking about you hours later, when he's lying in bed scrolling through his phone, wondering why he can't stop thinking about you. And here's the ultimate lesson that will change your love life forever. Once you truly understand this, it's no longer about making him crave you. It's about realizing your own strength. It's about knowing that deep connection doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing small things with full presence. When you hug him like this, you're not only creating attraction, you're stepping into your own power. You're reminding yourself that you can make someone feel deeply without trying too hard. That kind of quiet confidence is the most attractive thing there is. So remember this. The next time you find yourself in his arms, don't underestimate the moment. Don't treat it like it's just another hug, because there's no such thing as just a hug. There are forgettable hugs, and there are unforgettable ones. And when you know how to touch him the right way during a hug, you become unforgettable. You become the woman who lives in his mind and in his memory long after you've gone. Once you're there, he'll do anything to feel that connection again. If this message gave you a moment of clarity, if it helped you see closeness in a completely new way, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button right now, because every week I bring you deep insights about love, attraction, and emotional connection that most people never talk about. And trust me, the next one will take you even deeper.